There are 7 modern-day conveniences that have developed problems that are impossible for the human body to reverse on its own. Hi, my name is Mick Hall. Every one of us is continually being guided by the innate wisdom of our own bodies. This is a wisdom that has evolved over thousands of years from our ancestors struggling to survive here on planet Earth. All of this brilliant information is held within the library of our DNA. As simple and innocent as these modern-day conveniences are, they are the real reason the human body has become helpless in correcting the problems they cause. It's essential for every person who wishes to avoid the development of any of the major degenerative diseases to learn how to support your body in reversing the negative effects of these 7 conveniences. Number 1. Can you imagine how horrible it would be to be living without electric light? We're so accustomed to having our homes, stores, and even our streets lit up at night. What a great blessing. Yet, can you imagine people living 150 years ago burning their candles until 11 o'clock at night? We've enjoyed this convenience all of our lives, and from the time we were young, we developed the habit of extending our days an extra 3 or 4 hours every day. Once the habit was established, we continued to milk every hour out of our days. This, along with our intensified competitive lifestyles, leaves almost every one of us with a dead life battery. If you compared the energy of the body to money, it would be like driving the body into energetic bankruptcy. With enough energy, the body can heal itself of most anything. Being energetically bankrupt, the body can barely heal itself of anything. Now, does it make sense why after 40 years of age, wounds heal so much slower, and body pains and lower energy levels are just a way of life? Every decade after 40 increases the symptoms referred to as the natural aging process. Number 2. Modern man spends most of his waking hours sitting. We sit in our cars as we drive to work and home. Most of us sit at desks during the day while we do our work. We sit at tables to eat our meals. We sit in our living rooms most evenings watching movies or television programs or reading. All of this sitting is weakening our lower backs, and in time, weak lower back muscles congest and begin to tighten up. The tension held in the lower back reduces the nerve flow to the colon, causing strictures which inhibit the colon's ability to completely evacuate its contents, and is the most common cause of adult constipation. When the average adult carrying from 4 to 15 pounds of waste material in the colon, and the fluids from this stagnated waste being drawn into the bloodstream 24 hours a day, is it any wonder that we often hear ourselves saying that we feel maybe a little crappy? This is exactly how the liver and the body get overwhelmed with toxic waste. The tension from too much sitting also reduces the nerve flow to the prostate gland on men, becoming the direct and immediate cause for all prostate problems. Number 3. All of our lives, antibiotics have been celebrated as being one of the greatest medical miracles of all time. It is by far the most prescribed medicine of our day. Although it is great at destroying disease-causing bacteria, it's just as effective at killing our friendly intestinal flora. Add to this the most popular method of disinfecting our drinking water, chlorine, and the average person's intestinal flora doesn't stand a chance. Just by consuming dairy or poultry products, you're being bombarded with antibiotics from both industries. And when your intestinal flora has been destroyed and not able to neutralize the toxicity of your fecal waste, then your blood gets poisoned and your liver overwhelmed 24 hours a day from the recycling of toxic fluids. A properly balanced intestinal flora is our vital defense mechanism against the disease-causing fecal waste. Since approximately 70% of our immune system comes from the intestinal tract, disease will eventually develop if this problem doesn't get corrected. Number 4. For most of our history, men and women have worked hard out of doors, perspiring most of the day. This kept their bodies toned and the fluids flowing naturally. But the greater advantage was how perspiring encourages the largest organ of elimination to release acids and other toxic body waste. What is the body's largest organ of elimination? The skin and it should be eliminating a quantity of waste second only to the colon. So why is the skin no longer able to eliminate this large volume of acidic waste? Because every time we begin to sweat, we quickly turn another brilliant and much appreciated invention to a colder temperature, stopping the skin from doing one of its most important jobs. I'm talking about the air conditioner. Without this explanation, it would be very difficult to believe that such a wonderful invention would be another major cause for the development of our modern degenerative diseases. But an excessively acidic internal environment is the foundation for most of our serious diseases, and greatly reducing our body's ability to perspire is what allows the excessive amounts of acidic waste to accumulate. Number 5. There are thousands of modern-day food preparation methods that make life so much easier and more enjoyable. The problem is, besides the addition of thousands of highly toxic chemicals being added to our food, there is one process that needs to be isolated as one of the most dangerous food manufacturing techniques of our time. This dangerous process is the extraction of oil from corn and soy for human consumption. Before 1920, people were eating large quantities of lard, butter, eggs, and raw milk. In those days, heart disease was very rare. They then began producing vegetable oils and margarine. As the use of these oils increased, so did the number of heart disease cases. Vegetable oil is the most popular, most convenient, least expensive, and most inflammatory oil for human arteries. As a direct result of the widespread use of vegetable oils, heart disease has become the #1 killer in the United States. Number 6. Modern-day farming practices are much different from how farming was done 100 years ago. 100 years ago, farmers were very aware that if they didn't take the manures from their horses and cattle and spread it back over the land, their crops would suffer and their land would become depleted of minerals. Presently, most farmers purchase various combinations of nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus for their fields. In the correct combinations, these 3 ingredients make plants grow fast and look beautiful. The only problem is these fertilizers are lacking the valuable trace minerals. That is the main reason commercial farmers need to use such large quantities of pesticides. From mineral-depleted soils, we end up with vegetables that have 1/10 of the mineral content of organics. It was necessary for these mineral-deficient, commercially grown vegetables to be heavily sprayed with pesticides in order for them to survive to maturity. This makes up the greatest volume of food being consumed directly by people in the United States, as well as the animals, eggs, and dairy products being used for human consumption. Most of us must continually strive to overcome our mineral deficiencies and to detoxify the accumulated pesticides from our bodies. Number 7. From birth through the first year of our lives, our neck bones are not yet solidified as bone. They're more like a firm cartilage, soft and vulnerable. Due to assisted births, continuous falling as we learn to walk, and other accidents occurring to us as babies, almost every one of us experienced a pivoting of our cranium on our spine by the time we reached 1 year of age. Once the cranium gets pivoted, every time we fall or bump our head, the initial pivot gets compounded. As we advance toward adulthood, playing sports, continuing to fall, as well as every other accident we have, this forces our neck muscles to tighten in compensation of the already pivoted cranium. By the time we reach our 40s and 50s, most of us have neck muscles in strong spasm, still compensating for the initial pivot. The tension from these muscle spasms extend down the spine, causing other muscles to spasm and distorts the structure of our bodies. These secondary spasms are involved in every health disorder that we develop by reducing the nerve flow from the spinal cord to our glands and organs. Successfully correcting the original pivot of the cranium is less important than reversing the muscle spasms that are directly responsible for causing our health disorders. But until we reduce these spasms, the resulting nerve flow restrictions will continue to distort our body chemistry and to create weakened areas where disease can then develop. If you do nothing to reverse the negative effects of these 7 conveniences, there's absolutely nothing your body can do to avoid developing degenerative disease. Life teaches us very thoroughly that when we discover an effect, such as a symptom of disease, and we don't find the cause and correct it, we are almost guaranteed that the effect will either remain or soon return. This is the reason I developed the Body Chemistry Support System. The Body Chemistry Support System provides the fastest, most effective, and least expensive method for you to assist the innate wisdom of your body in fulfilling its own agenda, to correct the causes for the development of disease, to heal your body, and to create the highest level of health possible.